Okay, Vegan Gains responded to my arguments on Bearing's video, so let's get ready to stomp his arguments.
Describing someone killing an animal as them murdering an animal makes perfect sense, especially given the right context. But what Bearing is trying to argue here is that if I can call someone killing an animal murder, he could just as easily call me having consensual sex with my wife rape. Now, the problem with this argument is it's a false analogy. If I were to claim someone murdered an animal, you would immediately understand that I meant someone killed an animal. By the strict dictionary definition of murder, murder is the unlawful, premeditated killing of a human being by another human being. But if I were to tell you someone murdered an animal, all I'm doing is removing that anthropocentric context of that word, and it's immediately understandable.
Ah, just remove the anthropocentric context, huh? That's all there is to it. Okay, the Ecolinguistics reader, Language, Ecology, and Environment, written by linguistics experts Dr. Alvin Phil and Peter Mulhauser, states that if anthropocentrism is understood as naming from the human point of view, it has to be kept in mind that as an absolute sense, language is always anthropocentric, even ecological renaming. From the point of view of animals and plants, remains the expression of human projection, for how else could we reproduce the consciousness of animals and plants? The naming from the point of view of other species logically would have to be carnocentric, or felidocentric, or bovine-centric, etc. Their names, again, would not be objective ecological destinations, but would represent only other centrisms. If you remove the anthropocentric context, you have to replace it with another centrism. A human being who kills an animal does not commit murder according to traditional word usage any more than does a predator killing a prey or a cow eating the grass or an animal that has caused the death of a human being. Now, the definition for anthropocentric is interpreting or regarding the world in terms of human values and experiences. The definition of murder, the crime of unlawfully killing a person, especially with malice and forethought. So, Richie, you're trying to take an anthropocentric word, using language which is wholly anthropocentric, and you're going to do what?
Removing that anthropocentric context of that word.
You know, Richie, I think it's pretty interesting. Bearing equated you calling slaughtering animals murder to you having sex with your wife as rape. And that's because you, as an extremist social justice warrior, calling animal slaughter murder, that there are other extremist social justice warriors like yourself who would call you having sex with your wife as rape.
Just to recall a basic fact, intercourse, /PIV, penis and vagina, is always rape, plain and simple. This is a developed recap from what I've been saying in various comments here and there in the last 2 years, or so. As a rad femme, I've always said PIV, penis and vagina, is rape, and I remember being disappointed to discover that so few radical feminists stated it clearly.
And all I'm doing is removing that consensual context of fucking your wife, and it's...
Okay, yeah, he's really this stupid. Basically, when you say someone murdered an animal, you're just removing the anthropocentric context. Like, comparing that to completely changing the definition of rape is just ridiculous. I don't even know why the fuck he used this clip, because it's just stupid. There's nothing to argue here, and it's completely irrelevant to the fucking topic.
Yeah, moving on. Just say the words that you fucking mean. Jesus.
Call you a cow. I respect you
what?
and cows.
Like, does he just want to waste time? Did he try to just extend this video longer so we could put more ads in? What is there to debate? What? I'm pretty sure my reasoning is fucking crystal clear. Yeah, if I say murder an animal, you already understand I'm just removing the anthropocentric context of the word murder, and you understand that somebody unjustifiably killed an animal. What the fuck is the problem here? And again, this is just a fucking red herring. Like, this, you're not talking about the morality of killing animals for food, you're talking about, like, dictionary definitions, which is fucking meaningless, completely irrelevant to the topic.
Here's a word from my buddy Mike Barbarossa.
Bearing is right. Slaughtering an animal to render its meat is not murder, and I'll explain why. Now, let's go back to that dictionary definition of murder. It says...
Okay, the unlawful premeditated killing of a human being by another. There are non-anthropocentric definitions to the word murder that just specify killing, like, that you're just using one specific definition, again, completely fucking irrelevant to the actual topic of the morality of eating meat. I don't even know why the fuck he's bringing this up.
Murder is the unlawful killing of another person. Now, it's specific kinds of killing another person that is defined as murder. If you kill your former boss to get back at him for firing you, that's murder. A store owner is shot by a robber and he shoots back and kills him, that's not murder. So since murder is the unlawful killing of another person, what makes it unlawful? And the answer is, it has to be a malicious killing. You killed the person just for the sake of seeing him killed, seeing him dead. That's malicious, that's unlawful, and that's murder.
Okay, so, you know what, I'll let this trail on for a bit longer, but I can already debunk this.
So let's look at the animal version, the so-called animal murder, and see if it's actually murder. Okay, now let's look at the man killing the cow for slaughter. Okay, for argument's sake, we're going to assume that this is the farmer who bred and raised and fed this cow. Now, why is this cow alive? Why was it bred? Why did it get bred, and why was it born? The farmer went through all of the work and money to breed the cow for the promise of its meat. Okay, get ready, folks. Because he's getting ready to get hit with an argument that he just doesn't happen to have a rehearsed answer for. The farmer then took care of the cow, fed it, and made sure it grew healthy. Why did the farmer do this? For the promise of the meat. Now at this point you have to realize, without a demand for meat, this animal never exists. Now this farmer, in his own free will...
Okay, like, this is, like, this, like, this is,
Now at this point you have to realize, without a demand for meat, this animal never exists. Now this farmer, in his own free will...
Okay, like, this...
Well, Richie, since you seem pretty clueless, you better let me fill you in. These livestock animals bring value at the time of their slaughter. Due to that value, we're able to invest in feeding the animal, caring for the animal, providing veterinary care for the animal, providing shelter and protection from predators. We work hard, gather, and supply the animals an endless supply of food. The only reason these animals exist is because of that promise of the food. We breed, create, feed, and care for those animals to that end. As a free and independent individual, I have the freedom to do whatever I want that doesn't hurt you. I want to create and harvest these animals, and that's none of your fucking business.
Like, this is, so you're trying to justify, needless killing because if the needless killing didn't happen, the animal wouldn't exist. Okay, so if I had a child and killed that child, would the murder be perfectly justified? Because if I didn't, like, decide to have a child in the first place, it wouldn't have existed, so... Like, this doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, you're right, Richie. That abortion of an argument didn't make any sense at all. I'll tell you what, we'll let you have a mulligan. Try again.
Yeah, needless killing. You're trying to justify needless killing and suffering because, let's be honest, what goes on in the animal agriculture industry, we're talking about killing billions of animals each year.
Richie, we just went over that. Try to keep up. Agriculture creates and cares for billions of animals. And your argumentum ad nauseum, focusing only on the killing, over and over and over again, that's not working anymore.
To needlessly cause the suffering and death of animals, animals have to suffer and die. For needlessly causing the suffering and death of animals, animals have to suffer and die. Needlessly causing the suffering and death of animals. Murdered an animal, needlessly murdering animals.
Yeah, sorry, Richie, but we're gonna enjoy our liberty and pursue happiness the way we see fit without giving a damn about some morality that you've worked up inside your head. And that's because
people can have ethical views different from your own.
Oh, good, Richie. Looks like you're catching on.
There's no possible way to raise billions of animals and kill them without causing a significant amount of suffering. So you're saying suffering, needless suffering and death is justified because they wouldn't exist in the first place if we didn't cause their suffering and death? Like, this makes absolutely no fucking sense.
What you fail to realize is that every aspect of your modern lifestyle costs the lives of animals. Insecticide, pesticides, and tilling of vegetable crops cost countless animals their lives. Countless animals are killed so we can have cars and paved roadways. All this human progress in the last 40 years, according to scientists, half of the entire world's wildlife has been lost. All this so Richie can have his conveniences, his plane trip, his heated apartment, his plastic toys, and he has no problem with exploitation, so he can have all the modern conveniences like cell phones and computers.
Suffering of human beings for my own convenience. Now, am I saying that's good and right? And I'm like, fuck yeah, fucking dude in Africa who's 5 years old making my phone? No, of course not. I'm saying it sucks. It's like making my life better for and having to have fucked someone else's life up. That's something we all do when we're on computers and wear clothes and
okay.
like slaves.
Can I respond to that?
Yeah.
So this to me sounds like an appeal to futility fallacy. If you're going to cause suffering in one aspect of your life, then it's justified to cause suffering in another aspect. Like, the thing is, virtually every piece of technology you own is going to have some sort of not so fair trade going on. Like coltan, that's the big one from, I think it's Liberia or somewhere where it's most concentrated, or the Congo. Like, the people there are being exploited as fuck, but coltan is in, like, freaking everything. Phones, laptops, computers, cameras. Like, we need this sort of stuff. Like, this, we're not going to just completely get rid of technology. So you can justify some amount of exploitation in that sort of area of your life. Like, if you're, you know, I think you're a professional YouTuber or whatever, like, you need a phone, a camera, stuff like that. So it might be justified to contribute to that sort of industry, but what the hell does that have to do with what you eat?
Well, I got a question for you, Richie. Why the hell are you so obsessed with what I eat? Listen, for us to have our lives, other lives have to be sacrificed. And each of us are free to hash that out in our own way. And us who choose to eat meat, we don't appreciate you sticking your nose over our fence and being all obsessed about what the fuck we eat. So why don't you shut the fuck up, mind your own business, and take your repetitive, broken record arguments elsewhere.
The only thing that would satisfy me at this point is a cage match. Like, I just want to beat you inside a fucking MMA cage. Just throw you down and punch your face in. And that way, there's no debating. Like, who won? It has nothing to do with logic, it's just about who's standing.
Do you want to be my boyfriend?